Wait, don't rush into buying an electric vehicle, Steve, right now. There's some serious trouble with EVs that's come to light. EV owners are raising concerns, and it's not for the reasons you might expect. Surprisingly, some EV owners are actually going back to traditional combustion engines, completely hesitant about ever buying an EV again. What's even more surprising is that political leaders are keeping this information under wraps. I'm about to reveal 4 significant issues with EVs that won't just hit you with expensive repair bills, but could even put your life at risk. So pay close attention. When EVs first hit the market, everyone was eager to own one, and political leaders pushed car manufacturers to produce more. Now, 3 years later, as the batteries age and people put some miles on these supposedly futuristic cars, serious problems are emerging. They surprise, no joke. The situation is really bad. People are actually swapping their old, weak electric vehicles, RSA, for hybrid cars. But before I dive into the details, let's check out some real cases from just last month. The Wall Street Journal shared the story of a guy named Scott McFan. He had to shell out $22,000 just to fix a dent. Yes, you heard it right, $22,000 for a dent. He had a small accident with his Rivian, and what would usually be an easy fix turned into a nightmare. For more than 2 months, he had to part ways with his car and faced a massive repair bill of $22,000. This incident sheds light on a common issue with electric vehicles. Many repair shops can't handle their advanced technology, making repairs both slow and expensive. In the US, the average repair cost for electric vehicles was reported to be $658 a year, more than $500 every month. Let me tell you about a guy from California. His electric car's range dropped by over 1/3 in just 5 minutes because of the cold weather. He had a baby in the car and needed to get to the hospital in an emergency. This kind of thing happens every day, whether you live in a cold place or an area prone to cyclone. Imagine when the power grid is overloaded or you can't charge your car during an emergency. We're not ready to ban gas cars just yet. The government needs to understand this. A recent study by ICE Global found that more than 50 of people who already own an electric car are thinking of going back to petrol or diesel for their next vehicle. Yes, you heard it right. Half of them. It seems like many people are having second thoughts about electric cars. Looking at the numbers makes it even more interesting. Only about 52.1% of households with an electric vehicle are likely to buy another one for their next car. 3 out of 5 people who own an electric vehicle, except Tesla owners, never want to go back to an electric vehicle again. Now here's the crazier part. Car companies are investing a lot of money in developing electric vehicles, but the last thing they want is for someone switching from an electric car back to a petrol or diesel one is like buying a fancy new smartphone and then going back to an old flip phone. In the luxury car sector, the situation is concerning, especially at Porsche, where less than 37% of owners are thinking of getting another electric car. BMW has also seen a decline, with only 45.9% considering another EV, down from 46.6% 3 years ago, according to Consumer Reports. Electric cars are facing more issues compared to traditional gas-powered cars, about 80 more problems. The major complaints revolve around batteries, charging systems, and how the car's body panels and interior parts fit together. It's like buying a new toy only to find out it's already broken. This situation reflects growing pains for the electric car industry. They are still figuring out how to build these new cars without these problems. Meanwhile, people are concerned about the reliability of EVs, along with higher costs, a lack of charging stations, and the time it takes to charge these cars. Interestingly, plug-in hybrids, which combine electric and gas power, are facing even more issues than fully electric cars. It's because they have 2 different power systems and both can have problems. Think of it like juggling with one hand tied behind your back. Now, here's some good news. Traditional gas-electric hybrids, the ones that have been around for a while, are actually more reliable. Most people are happier buying a $25 hybrid than shelling out $60,000 for an EV. Let me share a story about Michael Korm from New York. He bought a 2023 Chevy Bolt electric SFD to be cool and save money on gas. But one chilly day, his car wouldn't shift into drive. He had to turn it on and off like 10 or 12 times before it finally worked. And it's not just Chevy. Hyundai's Ioniq 5 EV had battery and charging issues due to a computer glitch. Rivian, a new company making electric trucks and SUVs, faced problems with body panels and broken parts inside the car. Now that you know where the problems really lie, let me go over 4 major reasons why buying an EV could be a big mistake for you. First, the home charging blues. Imagine getting an EV dreaming of never visiting a gas station again. Sounds awesome, right? But there's a catch. Charging at home isn't as easy as they make it sound. Most homes, especially in California, aren't set up for this. They lack level 2 charging, which is like the golden ticket for EVs. You need this for the fill your tank overnight magic to happen, but most folks just don't have it. And what about apartments? Forget about it. Finding a spot with a charger is like finding a needle in a haystack. So you're stuck with public charging stations, and let me tell you, it's not always a walk in the park. They're either super rare or always busted, and around 40 of public charging stations don't even work. The second problem is the energy crisis issue. Here's something that blew my mind. We all think EVs are about saving energy. Absolutely. Let me break it down for you. Electric cars use way more home electricity than people expected. While folks thought they'd use around 2.9 kilowatts per day, the reality is more like 7.2 to 8 kilowatts, over double your usual electricity bill. So even if you think it's cheaper than a gas car, consider this. To offset the $20,000 to $30,000 extra you pay for an electric car compared to a hybrid, you have to drive it for 60,000 miles first. Only then will you start saving money. Now, the third issue is range anxiety, as we discussed earlier, but here's the kicker. The fourth problem might make you think twice about buying an electric car. Take the GMC Hummer, for instance. It's a massive 9,000-pound beast, like 3 Honda Civics combined on a scale. Why so heavy? Simple. Those batteries needed for longer ranges and more power. Electric cars like the Ford F-150 Lightning, Mustang Mach-E, Volvo X40 and Toyota RAV4 EV all bulk up with extra weight due to their hefty batteries. So, while they've ditched the need for gasoline, they've certainly added on some pounds. Jennifer High from the National Transportation Safety Board can tell you all about it, pointing out a serious issue while dealing with reducing greenhouse gas emissions through electric vehicles. We might be missing a crucial side effect: increased danger on our roads. Michael Anderson, an economics professor, discovered that the chances of surviving a collision with a car 1,000 pounds heavier than your own dropped by 47. Now, with these heavier EVs on the road, the risk is even higher. Imagine you're driving a small gas-powered car or a lighter EV and sharing the road with these heavy EV giants. It's a scary thought because the difference in vehicle weight isn't just a number. It's a matter of life and death and accidents. The driving dynamics and the probability of toppling over also increase significantly. Overall, the situation doesn't look good for EVs at the moment. However, the electric car market is still finding its way. There are various problems to solve, from the reliability of these cars to how easy they are to charge. It feels like we're all part of a big experiment to determine if electric cars can truly be the future of driving. Right now, it's a bumpy road with many twists and turns. So, what are your thoughts? Are EVs more expensive to maintain? Let me know in the comments below. I just